Look, I have been working at the Galactic Medical Institute for 63 cycles now, and I have seen some truly bizarre things. I have dissected the triple-hearted Korgathi. I have analyzed the silicon-based crystallians who literally eat rocks for breakfast. I have even studied the floomps, those blob creatures that can regenerate from a single cell. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, prepared me for the day Dr. Vexlar tried to examine a human being. Dr. Vexlar was, well, how do I put this delicately? He was an arrogant piece of work. A culinary xenobiologist with 17 advanced degrees, 4 published papers that revolutionized cellular biology, and an ego the size of a small moon. His cranial ridges were always perfectly polished. His 3 eyes gleamed with intellectual superiority, and he walked around the institute like he owned the place. Which technically he kind of did, since his research grants funded half our operation. When the Galactic Council announced that humanity had been contacted and welcomed into the greater community, Vexlar practically shoved 3 other researchers out of the way to claim the human biology study. He stood in the main laboratory, all 4 of his arms crossed in that insufferable way of his, and declared to anyone who would listen that he would have the human species completely catalogued and understood within a single rotation. How complex could they possibly be? He said, his voice dripping with condensation. Sorry, condescension. Always get those words mixed up. They are from a Class M planet barely achieved faster than light travel, and they still use primitive chemical rockets. This will be the easiest assignment of my career. I am Tomp, by the way. Junior research assistant, noter of data, holder of scanning equipment, and apparently witness to the greatest medical breakdown in Institute history. My species, the Planeri, are known for our excellent memory and our ability to remain calm under pressure. Both of these traits were about to be tested severely. The human specimen. No. Wait, that sounds terrible. The human volunteer arrived on a Tuesday morning. His name was Marcus Webb, and he was a maintenance technician from one of the human colony ships. Average height for his species at around 1.8 meters, brown hair, brown eyes, and a somewhat confused expression that I would later learn was just how humans looked most of the time. So, I just sit here? Marcus asked, settling into the examination chair that Vexlar had modified to accommodate the human's bilateral body structure. Yes, just remain still, Vexlar said, waving one hand dismissively while his other 3 hands prepared the scanning equipment. This will not take long. Your biology is undoubtedly straightforward. Oh, how wrong he was. How spectacularly, magnificently, catastrophically wrong. The first scan completed, and Vexlar pulled up the skeletal structure on the holo display. He stared at it for a moment, his middle eye twitching slightly. This cannot be correct. Tomp, run a diagnostic on the scanner. The scanner is functioning perfectly, doctor, I replied, checking the readouts. But this shows. Vexlar zoomed in on the bone structure, his voice rising slightly. This shows that their internal support framework is made primarily of calcium phosphate. Calcium, the same mineral found in common sedimentary rocks. Yeah, bones, Marcus said helpfully. Pretty standard stuff. Standard? Vexlar's voice cracked. You are telling me that you build your structural support system out of the same compound that we use to make disposable eating utensils. Marcus shrugged. I guess? Never really thought about it. Vexlar took a deep breath, his respiratory sacs inflating and deflating rapidly. Fine. Perhaps the internal systems will make more sense. He initiated the circulatory scan, and I watched as his skin tone shifted from healthy blue to a concerning shade of purple. What is this? He pointed at the display with 2 hands while the other 2 clutched his scanning pad. Your blood. Your vital fluid transport system. It uses iron. Iron-based hemoglobin. You are pumping liquid metal through your vein. Well, yeah, Marcus said, looking slightly concerned now. Doc, are you okay? You look a little purple. I am fine, Vexlar snapped, though he was clearly not fine. Do you have any idea how reactive iron is? How it oxidizes? How it, he trailed off, staring at the scan results. And the pressure in your circulatory system. It is. Tomf, confirm these numbers. I checked. 120/80, doctor. Within normal range for humans, according to their medical database. Normal? Vexlar's voice had gone up at least 2 octaves. That pressure would rupture a Quilnari's circulation system instantly. You are essentially walking around with hydraulic machinery inside you. Huh, Marcus said, scratching his head. That is kind of cool when you put it that way. Vexlar sat down heavily in his chair. What do you eat? Please tell me you consume something reasonable. Synthesized nutrients, perhaps. Photosynthetic supplements. Oh, I had bacon and eggs this morning, Marcus replied cheerfully. And some coffee? Really needed the coffee, actually. Did not sleep great last night. Bacon? Vexlar repeated the word slowly. And what exactly is bacon? Cured meat from a pig. You know, an earth animal. We salt it, smoke it, sometimes add some spices. You eat meat. Vexlar stood up so fast his chair toppled over. You consume the flesh of other organisms. You are predators. I mean omnivores, technically, Marcus corrected. We eat plants too. I had some orange juice. That does not make it better. Vexlar was pacing now, all four arms gesturing wildly. And this coffee. What is that? Stimulant drink. Comes from beans. Gives you energy. Helps you wake up. You need chemical stimulants just to achieve consciousness? Vexlar looked at me desperately, as if hoping I would tell him this was all an elaborate prank. I could only offer him a sympathetic ear twitch, but Vexlar was not done yet. Oh no, he still had not looked at the digestive system. When he finally pulled up that scan, I actually saw him stumble backward. Your stomach acid, he whispered, his voice barely audible. The pH level is between 1 and 2. That is stronger than the industrial solvents we use to clean the lab equipment. Yeah, gotta break down all that food, Marcus said, apparently completely unaware that he was destroying a brilliant scientist's entire worldview. Sometimes I get heartburn, though. That is not fun. Heartburn, Vexlar repeated flatly. You have a condition where your industrial-strength acid burns your internal tissues, and you classify this as not fun rather than a medical emergency. Well, I just take some antacids and it clears right up. You neutralize your stomach acid, casually, with over-the-counter medication. Vexlar was gripping the edge of the examination table now. Tomf, remind me, what happens when a Quilnari ingests something too acidic? Immediate system shutdown, typically fatal within minutes, I recited from memory. And humans just take a pill, pretty much, Marcus agreed. I thought that was bad, I really did, but then Vexlar made the catastrophic mistake of scanning the immune system. When the results appeared, he actually made a noise. I had never heard a Quilnari make before. It was something between a wheeze and a whimper. Your immune system, he began, his voice shaking, is composed of cells that actively hunt and destroy foreign entities. You have warrior cells that patrol your body looking for invaders to kill. You have cells that remember every single threat you have ever encountered and prepare weapons specifically designed to destroy them. Your body is running a military operation inside itself at all times. That is a pretty cool way to describe white blood cells, Marcus said. Cool? Cool? Vexlar was shouting now. You have biological assassins swimming through your veins, and one of your primary defensive mechanisms is to raise your internal temperature to hostile levels for invading organisms. You literally cook yourself slightly to kill infection. Oh, you mean a fever? Yeah, those are not pleasant. Not pleasant, Vexlar muttered, returning to his chair and sitting down with his head in two of his hands. Not pleasant, he says, while describing a process that would kill most species in the known galaxy. I tried to offer some water to the doctor, but he waved me away. No. I need to finish this. I need to see how deep this insanity goes. He pulled up the nervous system scan, and I could see his hands trembling. The electrical impulses, he said quietly. Your nervous system operates on electrical signals. You are a biological machine running on electricity, and the speed, the reaction time. Top. What is the average Quilnari neural impulse speed? Approximately 30 meters per second, doctor. Human nerve impulses travel at up to 120 meters per second. Vexlar looked at Marcus with something approaching fear. Your reaction time is 4 times faster than ours. You are built for combat. For hunting. I work in maintenance, Marcus pointed out. I fix air recyclers. Do not care, Vexlar said, his words running together now. Do not care what you do. Care about what you are. You are an apex predator wrapped in a thin layer of what you probably call civilization. That seems harsh, Marcus said, frowning. Harsh? And there went Vexlar again. You want to know what is harsh? Let me tell you about pain. Your species has a concept called pain tolerance. Do you know what that is, Tom? The ability to withstand painful stimuli without losing function, I replied carefully. Exactly. Other species. When we feel significant pain, we shut down, we collapse, we enter protective stasis. But humans, he turned back to Marcus, humans can be injured and continue fighting, continue working, continue functioning. Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta finish the job, right? Marcus said. No, you do not gotta finish the job. You should be unconscious. You should be in shock. But no, humans just push through it. Vexler pulled up another screen. And speaking of shock, let us talk about your cardiovascular backup systems. You have multiple redundancy. If one part of your heart fails, other parts can compensate. You can survive with significant portions of your organs missing. My uncle had half a lung removed, Marcus offered. Smoked too much. He is doing fine now, though. Vexler made that wheezing noise again. Of course he is. Of course he is fine. Because humans are apparently unkillable. Well, I mean, we die eventually, Marcus said. Nobody lives forever. How long is your average lifespan? About 70 to 80 years, depending on health and lifestyle. Vexler calculated quickly. That is over 90 quinary cycles. You live twice as long as we do, despite having bodies that are apparently held together by spite and chemical warfare. Doc, seriously, maybe you should sit down, Marcus said, looking genuinely worried now. You are not looking so good. But Vexler was on a roll, and there was no stopping him now. Let us talk about reproduction, he said, pulling up the relevant scans. Please tell me that is straightforward. Please tell me you reproduce in a sensible manner. Marcus said, his face turning slightly red. Well, there is a male and a female, and they, Yes, I understand sexual reproduction, Vexler interrupted. But the process, the human female carries the developing offspring inside her body for 9 months. 9 months. And then he stopped, staring at the data. I watched as his skin went from purple to almost white. And then the offspring is expelled through. No, that cannot be right. I mean, I have not personally experienced it, being a dude and all. Marcus said, but yeah, childbirth is pretty intense from what I hear. Intense, Vexler repeated numbly. The female human must expand her skeletal structure temporarily, endure pain that would kill most species, and physically push a new organism out of her body. And you call this intense? Well, it is one of the most painful experiences a human can go through, Marcus said. But women are tough. My mom always said having me was worth it. Though she also said I gave her 36 hours of labor, so maybe she is just really nice. 36 hours? Vexler was standing again. The process can take hours? Multiple hours of the most intense pain in your species experience, and you just do it? Voluntarily? Not much choice if you want kids, Marcus said with a shrug. And afterward? What is the recovery time? Surely it must be months, years even. Usually about 6 weeks for full recovery, Marcus said. Some women bounce back faster. 6 weeks. Vexler sat down again. 6 weeks, and you are ready to do it all over again. Well, most people wait a bit longer than that, Marcus said. But yeah, technically, I decided to intervene before Vexler had a complete meltdown. Doctor, perhaps we should take a break. Have some nutrient paste. Rest for a moment. No, Vexler said firmly. No, I am going to finish this if it kills me. Which, given what I am learning about humans, it very well might. He pulled up another set of scans. What are these vestigial structures? Oh, those. Marcus leaned forward to look. That is probably my appendix. It is this little organ that does not really do much anymore. Sometimes it gets infected and you have to have it removed. It serves no purpose? Not really, no. Evolutionary leftover, I think. Vexler's eye was twitching again. So you have non-functional organs just sitting inside you, waiting to potentially kill you. Yeah, appendicitis is no joke, Marcus agreed. My cousin had his burst. Really painful. And these, Vexler zoomed in on Marcus's jaw. Wisdom teeth, probably. Those are these extra molars that come in when you are like 18 or 20. Most people have them removed because they cause problems. You grow extra teeth that you do not need, and then have to have them surgically extracted. Yup. This is. Vexler stood up, swayed and sat back down. This is insane. Your species is insane. You are held together by calcium rocks and liquid metal. You pump yourselves full of acid and electricity. You wage constant war inside your own bodies. You can survive injuries that would kill anything else. You reproduce through a process that sounds like torture, and you have leftover parts that serve no purpose except to occasionally try to kill you. I mean, when you put it like that, it does sound kind of weird, Marcus admitted. Kind of weird? Vexlar was on his feet again, all four arms waving frantically. You are a walking nightmare of biological improbability. You should not exist. The universe should not allow you to exist, and yet here you are, casually sitting in my laboratory telling me about your not fun heartburn and your mother's 36 hours of voluntary agony. Doc. Seriously, you need to calm down, Marcus said, standing up from the examination chair. Calm down. Calm down. Vexlar was backing away now, his three eyes wide. How am I supposed to calm down when I have just learned that humans are essentially unkillable death machines made of building materials and chemical weapons? How am I supposed to process the fact that you people consider it fun to jump out of aircraft for recreation? That you deliberately consume poison for pleasure? That you willingly subject yourselves to extreme temperatures and call it relaxing? Wait, how do you know about skydiving and hot tubs? Marcus asked. I read your cultural database. Vexlar shrieked. I thought it would help me understand you better. It did not help. You have entire categories of activities dedicated to merely killing yourselves. You call them sports. Well, yeah, but that is what makes them exciting, Marcus said. Exciting. Vexlar clutched his chest with two hands while the other two gripped his head. You people think almost dying is exciting. I mean, not all of us do extreme sports, Marcus tried to explain. Some people prefer safer hobbies. Like what? Vexlar demanded. Please tell me you have some reasonable hobbies. Well, some people like marathon running. Marathon? You run until your body nearly shuts down. For fun. Or rock climbing. You scale vertical surfaces using only your appendages. Scuba diving is pretty popular. You submerge yourselves in water which you cannot breathe, relying on mechanical devices to stay alive. Okay, not helping, Marcus said quickly. Look. Some people just like reading books, watching movies, stuff like that. Movies, Vexlar said slowly. Your entertainment media, where you tell stories about— Oh no. His hands were trembling as he pulled up something on his datapad. Your most popular entertainment genres include action, where your heroes regularly survive explosions and gunfire, horror, where you deliberately frighten yourselves for pleasure, and something called romantic comedy, which apparently involves emotional torture followed by unlikely pairings. Romantic comedies are not torture, Marcus protested. They are for me, Vexlar whispered. This entire species is torture for me. Tomf, make a note in my file. Humans are biologically impossible, culturally insane and apparently immortal. I will make that note, Doctor, I said gently. Vexlar turned back to Marcus, his expression one of complete defeat. Tell me one more thing. Please. Do your people have any vulnerabilities? Anything that can actually stop you? Marcus thought for a moment. Well, we need oxygen. Cannot survive without that. Neither can most carbon-based life forms. What else? Extreme temperatures can kill us. Like really extreme ones. How extreme? Well, we can survive in temperatures from about -40 to +50 degrees Celsius. Vexlar pulled up a comparison chart. That is 3 times the range that culinary can tolerate. Of course it is. Why would humans be reasonable? We are also allergic to things sometimes, Marcus offered. Peanuts can kill some people. Peanuts. Yeah, it is a legume. Like a nut. But not really a nut. So a non-nut food item can kill you, but having your appendix explode is just an inconvenience. Well, both can kill you if untreated, Marcus said. The appendix thing just takes longer usually. Vexlar was swaying on his feet now, his skin color cycling through several concerning shades. I cannot. I need to. Tomf, I think— Doctor? I moved toward him, concerned. Humans are made of rocks and metal, Vexlar mumbled, his eyes losing focus. They eat poison and call it breakfast. They voluntarily jump out of flying machines. They have warrior cells and backup organs and vestigial teeth. They survive through spite and chemical warfare. He looked at Marcus one final time. They are going to take over the entire galaxy, are they not? I mean, we just want to be friendly and trade and stuff. Marcus said. Trade. They want to trade. As if they need anything from us. They probably metabolize starship fuel and use neutron star cores as paperweights. Vexlar took a step forward, Then another step back. I have 17 degrees, 63 cycles of research, 4 revolutionary papers, and I cannot handle. His 3 eyes rolled back in his head, and Dr. Vexlar, the most renowned xenobiologist in the Culinary Collective, fainted dead away onto the laboratory floor. Marcus looked at me, his face a picture of confusion. Is he okay? He will be fine, I assured him, checking Vexlar's vital signs. You simply overwhelmed him. I did not even tell him about the time I broke my arm and walked around for 3 days before going to the hospital, Marcus said. Should I mention that when he wakes up? Please do not, I said firmly. I think he has had enough revelations for one day. As I called for medical assistance to help the unconscious doctor, I could not help but reflect on the irony. Here we were, advanced species with sophisticated biology and centuries of medical knowledge, completely undone by the walking contradiction that was human physiology, species that breathed methane, that existed as collective consciousnesses, that could photosynthesize. We had studied them all without incident. But humans? Humans were different. Humans were impossible. And according to Vexlar's last conscious words, they were going to take over the galaxy. Looking at Marcus Webb standing there in his casual clothing, asking if he should reschedule his next appointment, I had to admit something. Vexlar might have been right. And the truly terrifying part, the humans did not even realize how frightening they were. They just called it normal and went about their day, drinking their poison coffee, eating their acid-requiring food, and jumping out of perfectly good spacecraft for fun. The galaxy was not ready for humanity, and as I filed my incident report titled "Doctor Faints Upon Learning That Humans Are Biologically Horrifying," I realized something important. I was not ready either. But ready or not, here they came, built from calcium and iron, powered by electricity and spite, surviving through sheer biological audacity. The universe was about to get a lot more interesting, and a lot more terrifying. And humans would probably just shrug and say it was not that big a deal, because of course they would.